thick of the winter season, and for many, keeping warm is a real struggle, especially with the rising cost of electricity. And it is a rising cost. Yes, we've been given a reprieve with the carbon tax collapse, but it's still costly to keep your home warm. And this was underlined today when we heard about a family in Penrith who are so lucky to be alive, but they suffered carbon monoxide poisoning after they brought their outdoor charcoal burner inside to keep warm. Have we got that into debt? Have we got that inability to pay for electricity bills? Has it become so chronic that we're bringing in outdoor burners into the lounge room to keep warm, and then everyone sleeps in the lounge room together to stay warm? I'll tell you what, it's a real worry when people are that desperate that they put their lives at risk. Now, whether they know that their lives were at risk or not, I'm not quite sure. And the other question, which I asked much earlier in the program, do they know that they can make their electricity more affordable? And there are ways to do that. As a matter of fact, I got an email a little earlier from a government representative that mentioned that they can contact Energy and Resources, the Department of Energy and Resources, if they have a problem with paying their electricity bill, and consideration will be given. So you can contact your electricity providers and talk to them about that. But it's important for people to know that gas and electricity can be more affordable. And Chris Zinn from the 50 Up Club is here to talk us through all of that. Chris, thank you very much for coming in, mate.
Good afternoon, Chris.
Terrible story, and you can only presume that the reason they bought in this outdoor charcoal burner was because they couldn't keep their home warm with a conventional electricity-powered heater.
That could be part of it. Plus, there is the kind of ignorance of the danger of these things. And while there are warnings on the packaging and on the instructions when you buy it, there isn't on the actual burner or barbecue or whatever it was. So, essentially the problem is you buy cheap heaters, even if they're electric, they're most expensive things to run.
Yeah.
You buy things that aren't meant for domestic heating and they're dangerous. So actually decent heating costs a fair bit, while it can be lower to run in cost. And the other thing is our homes are not very well designed to keep the heat in, and in the summer keep the heat out. So that's that's a big structural problem. But look, what we have to focus on is what you can do. So the main thing is, in terms of electricity bills, make sure you're not paying a ZAC more than you need to, and that means being on a contract. And our advice is, unless you're getting a 15% discount, shop around. Look about.
You can get a 15% discount. And, that was glaringly obvious to me as an above 50 and then a member of the 50 Up Club, which advertises here on the program and throughout the station. All you have to do, and as you go through the electricity provider that looks after 50 Up Club, all of a sudden you've got this 20% discount or a 17% discount I was offered. And you think to yourself, why haven't I been doing that for the last 5 years?
Or call your existing provider and say, you know what, I'm looking around. You'd be surprised what they can pull out of the hat if you're intending to leave. And as we're coming to the end of the financial year, and we're going to talk about that, but there are plenty of 1 month free offers or $100 off offers, albeit perhaps only over 12 months. So it's quite a good time of year to reconsider electricity. One, because it's, we're using a lot to stay warm. Two, because the offers are out there.
A lot of older people, though, are a little bit apprehensive in asking and putting their hand out. It's not part of their ethos, I don't want more. I've got my electricity provider that I've been on for 73 years or whatever, and they're a little bit reluctant to ask for more, but everyone can get access to these discounts.
And I understand that. Look, if your provider, be their bank or electricity company, was loyal to you, yeah, you'd be loyal to them. But you know what? Those days have gone. They will give discounts to new customers and they will load up the existing customers. So I'm afraid it's not being penny pinching. It's just saying you're asserting a consumer right. And we've got a whole lot more rights and actually power through to the kind of technologies we have now, and we need to assert them. If not, people will have a go at us.
But in general, and this is why you're representing the members of the 50 Up Club at the moment with some of our authorities, to try and indicate to them that we're still paying too much for electricity per unit, right?
Yeah, look, and there is, and we're having a kind of a bit of an action against to support the discounts which the price determination should hand down, which the New South Wales government's going against. Electricity, there's not much you can actually do about the cost, but you can do quite a bit more about, one, what you pay for it, two, what you use, and three, the kind of concessions and rebates that you can get. And I'm afraid there's far too many people who are less well off who either don't know or don't do that. So again, if you go to 50upclub.com, you can find a simple list of, in New South Wales, the sort of rebates that you can get. And that's, you pay for this in different ways, so you may as well make use of it.
Okay, Roy has just phoned through with a fairly decent question, I think, and a question that usually comes up when we discuss electricity charges. Roy, go right ahead. Christopher Zinn is listening.
Hi, Christopher and Christopher.
Hi.
Hi.
I just want to ask a question. Whenever you get pricing for electricity, it is always a discount off the rate. So you can't actually compare to what you're on. Why can't they say it's 22.3 cents per kilowatt, that's our rate, or 24.5 cents a kilowatt, so you can do an exact comparison? Because a lot of people don't know what percentage discount rate they're currently on.
Look, I couldn't agree more, and I wish that we could change that. The discount is not off a standard measure. My advice, it does give you a guide, but it's not always as tight a guide as you want. There is a federal government website called energymadeeasy.com.au, and that does allow you to make better comparisons. But really, we need to have the pricing of electricity akin to that which you see in supermarkets as unit price. So it is the unit price you pay per kilowatt hour.
But the marketers at these electricity providers don't want you to know that so easily.
They don't, and plus electricity is more complicated because there is a supply charge, which is the daily fixed charge, as well as the variable cost of the unit. But look, it is getting easier, but I admit it's not simple, and not as simple as it should be. But we're pushing towards that so we can make much better decisions.
Okay, Michelle, go right ahead.
Oh, hi, Chris. When our contract was due to expire with our electricity
Provider. Yep.
They sent a contract offering, the same discount they had the year before. They said, they were going to extend that for another 12 months. So we rang them up and told them we were a 50 Up Club member and the percentage discount we could get, and they matched it. So we used it as a bargaining tool.
Yeah, which you invite people to do, right?
Michelle, you have just warmed the cockles of my heart because, I can say people should do this, but it's when people hear from someone who's actually done that. It really works, and this is the point, is getting together in a club like this. The providers know about it. They're aware of the kind of offers we can make you. If they can match that and you don't have to switch, that's fine. But if you come to us, check out our offer, compare it with others, you can make your own mind up, and we think that will help short-circuit, dare I say, the decision-making.
Well done. Now, let's put electricity aside. I want to go to a quick break and come back with something that I think every one of our listeners will benefit from, which is we all hear about the end of financial year sales. You've seen some of them where you live. You've seen some of them where you shop. Well, what 50 Up Club want to do is to combine all that intellectual property, everything you have seen, the tips that you have used maybe to get carpets, to get beds, to get all that sort of stuff, combine them on the website so that we can all get a look and we can all find out what we should be buying at a great discount before the end of the financial year in the next 7 days. So we'll talk about that with Christopher Zinn right after the break. It's 20 minutes after 2.
1-873. Now it's back to Chris Smith.
Yeah, I'm with Chris Zinn from the 50 Up Club and sponsors, of course, of the program and the station. There's a week to go before the end of the financial year, and you've probably been out in the shops and seen end of financial year sales. I went to Proud Furniture that sponsors this program on the weekend to buy all sorts of stuff, and they had a fantastic deal going on at the moment, so I can give you a tip that that's a terrific place to go, and they've got stores all throughout Sydney, Proud Furniture. But we want to corral all of that information into one website so that we can all benefit from it. And if you're a member of the 50 Up Club, this may be one way to do it. Chris Zinn, have I got the ethos of all this right?
Yeah, look, we want to, crowd fund the wisdom, if you like. So really, if you've found a good end-of-year financial bargain, share it with others. Likewise, if you found one which you thought was pretty ordinary or perhaps more hyped than it was. So just go to the website, 50upclub.com, and sort of add your comments. And the members are very good at making comments. I'm sure they'll have some ideas. But kind of to kick it off, the retailers say that they have end-of-year financial sales. One, to clear the shelves and the stock and the floor space so they can put the new season stuff on there, but also to get the money to pay for it. So there's probably a good reason why they do that, and you get slightly different kind of offers than you might do at Christmas, for example. So it's well worth it. But of course, as with any sale, make sure you actually need it, as opposed to you're just being seduced by the idea that there's 50% off something you might not have needed or you already had.
Electrical goods, for some reason, I don't know whether they market themselves better than most retailers, but usually you get some really good value on electrical goods in the last couple of weeks of a financial year.
Look, you do, although sales have become so year-round, it's rather hard.
There's a sale on all the time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, but again, you know, for those people who perhaps can use this in terms of their tax, that's an added advantage. But of course, again, the caveat remains that there's a lot of hype about spending up big at the end of the financial year. You've got to make sure that it's really of value to you. But certainly, you know, in terms of online, in terms of bricks and mortar store, they're certainly pushing the end of financial year sale.
Yeah. Just in terms of your health insurance offer, and I haven't spoken about that for a while, but it may be instructive for many of our listeners. You've got a health insurance offer for 50 plus as well, members of the club.
Yeah, and look, that can be, you know, some $300 off existing, a sort of rebate. I mean, the point about health insurance is when you turn 31, you pay an added amount every year if you don't have, it's called lifetime cover. So that this is the biggest time of year for selling health insurance. One, to get those 31-year-olds into the system before they face this penalty. But two, many other people find that the kind of discounts that are available are really well worth it. So again, I would say check out the market. Find out what is going. If you're not happy with your health insurer, now is a great time to check it out, because there's the 50 up offer to consider, but then there's the 50 up club, I should say, offer to consider, but then there's also the whole lot that are in there in the market. And again, you may find, as we heard from Michelle, call your existing provider, say that you found this in the market, and you might be surprised what they do. If nothing else, consider what cover you have, because many people get a kind of cover that has lots of things that they don't need, and typically in 50 up we hear people who have pregnancy and maternity cover which they're unlikely to need. And again, by shaving away those extras and choosing a policy which really matches your needs, that makes sense. So this is a good time of year actually to spring clean your health insurance.
Yeah, spring clean it. Don't necessarily pick and stick forever, because you've got to update it depending on your lifestyle and needs. Nicholas has got a question for you. Back to electricity. Go ahead, Nick.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I recently got my quarterly bill for my electricity, and it came in at $740 for a 3-bedroom apartment with 3 people living in it who are barely there, mind you. I contacted the electricity agency, and I asked if there was any way we could check the reading, because on their own paperwork it said that we were above the general usage of a 6-bedroom household. So it didn't really add up. And they told me it was a smart meter, and that they would have it checked. I've since chased up. They haven't checked it yet. They're saying that they're sticking with the amount that's due. I really don't understand what options I have here as a consumer to have them look at that as an issue. You know, it's not fair in my opinion that I'm paying that much for a 3-bedroom apartment.
No, Nicholas, have you had a prior bill? What was the prior? Have you had?
Oh, look, I've been there for over 2 years now. I've never had a bill above $400.
Okay,
we
so
haven't changed any appliances or anything either. That's the other thing.
So it's gone from 400 to 740. Well, look, the Ombudsman, the Energy and Water Ombudsman in New South Wales, should be your first call. They're really prompt. They're really on the ball. I mean, actually, the more people I speak to who have trouble in terms of meter reading or faults with the meters is far larger than you might expect. Smart meters, one would hope, would be less faulty, or some of those clockwork, ancient old things that are still hanging around. But again, speak to the Ombudsman. They'll give you the kind of advice that you need. And if there's a case to pursue, they'll follow it up for you.
Okay. Chris Zinn, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Not only have we been able to assist people with an explanation on electricity today, but you've also come up with a pretty good scheme to attract people and direct people towards these discounts for end of financial year sales. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. And share your ideas for a great end of year financial year bargain.
Yeah, 50 Up Club. Get to the website and do your best and help others, and they'll help you, and you'll see what people have come across, and who knows, we might be able to gain a little bit of intelligence about discounts in your area. Now,